Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to court. But the judge, who is really focused on that fly on the ceiling, he's watching it, making sure it doesn't go to crazy places. Hi there, James. Hi there, AQ. Remaining civil sounds criminal. Yeah, how many minutes do you give it before this becomes a criminal trial? This suitor has some incredibly enamoring eyes. Yes, eyes. Big, round, beautiful, shiny eyes. Court is now in session for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready. Very well. Let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, please list the charges. The defendant is charged with criminal negligence in the death of Justin Way. The death occurred at the Arcane refinery last night. Mr. Way was an employee of the Dracogen Trading Company, a company owned by the defendant. During work hours, the victim accidentally broke a poorly maintained safety rail and fell into a vat of corrosive chemicals. Attempts to save his life failed, and his body almost fully dissolved.
I see. What a gruesome end.
The defendant displayed clear negligence in maintaining the refinery's facilities. As such, the responsibility for Mr. Way's death falls squarely on his shoulders. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Noah Morrison to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Yes, name's Noah Morrison. I am the harbor master of Aranax's harbor.
It's my understanding that you witnessed the accident that night. Am I correct?
Oh, I did.
Could you please testify to the court about what you witnessed? Do you think this is the worst death we've ever seen in a legal sim visual novel? Just the way that they describe it, and just imagining how it happened. Everyone else, usually, it's either a stab, or it's a gunshot, or a blunt blow to the head. But this man... How long do you think he lasted before he blacked out from the pain? Then again, I have not played the, I still need to play the remainder of the Apollo Justice trilogy, so who knows? Maybe someone's soul was ripped apart molecule by molecule. Fate, CCC reference. Of course, you've known, but you're not too familiar with the genre. Exactly. We all know what people go through in the last two games. Hello, Solaris. Glad you're able to tune in for such uplifting and pleasant discussion. All right, so Noah Morrison, Mr. working at the dock, Mr. Dock Worker himself.
I was showing a visitor around the city, and for some reason he really wanted to see the Arcane refinery. He was inspecting the machines there when suddenly Mosarika ran up to us. Oh, she was desperately trying to tell us something, but there was just too much noise. After a while, she just pointed at the walkway overlooking the refinery. That's where we saw someone fall into that accursed vat. There was a guardrail that should have prevented him from falling, but he broke through it as he fell.
So, there was a safety rail that should have protected the victim.
Yes. However, upon closer inspection, the city guard found that the rails were extremely rusted. They were clearly poorly maintained by the company.
I see. This negligence is the basis of the prosecution's charges.
Are you going to present the traces of transmutation that we found? I can't help but feel like there's something in Morrison's testimony that doesn't add up. Right now, those traces are the only defense we have against Von Sanctus's accusations. It's not a piece that I want to use just yet. And once you use that piece, who knows how the judge will react? What do you think? Would that be just about right? Not much has changed with Morrison's testimony. However, you collected a lot more evidence since you last spoke to him. Is there anything you found that contradicts his testimony? kind of amusing how the omniscient voice tends to be a lot. It feels a lot hand-holdier when there's an omniscient voice telling you, rather than the characters just mulling it over in their head. Alright, so let's see. You were showing a visitor around the city. Wanted to see the refinery. I wonder, will you actually tell me what the reason is? This was the patron you mentioned before. Am I correct, Morrison?
Hi!
Nestor seemed keen on keeping his identity hidden, and probably be best to leave it at that. Aside from being a mage, doesn't give you much reason to suspect him. For now. For now. Ooh. He was inspecting the machines there when suddenly, Rika ran up to us. She tried to tell us something, but there was too much noise. She just pointed to the walkway overlooking the refinery. That's where we saw someone fall into that accursed vat. There was a guardrail that should have prevented him from falling, but he broke through it as he fell. And you saw the guardrail break.
Hi! It's hard to see most things from that distance, but I definitely noticed that. It definitely made an impression on me. It's like those rails were made out of cardboard.
Which only proves our point. A properly maintained guardrail should not have broken that easily. You shouldn't present the magical traces yet. Wow. They're really putting those... The guardrail might have been weak, but the guardrails they're putting up for me are just absolutely sturdy. Might be more that you can get out of Morrison's testimony. Ah, more out of the testimony, huh? So it looks like I'm supposed to press a little bit more. Are you referring to Rika Tudor, owner of the local cafe?
Aye, for whatever reason, she was also there and witnessed the accident.
Yes, we are already well aware of that. Rika's testimony was a lot less detailed than Morrison and Astor's testimony. She was probably more focused on saving Justin than taking in her surroundings. But are there any points where a testimony doesn't add up with Morrison's? Okay. You're really trying to railroad me into this, aren't you? What's with the testimony? On the night of the accident, Rika saw Justin Way fall off the walkway. After seeing him fall, she tried to get the attention of Astor and Noah Morrison. They couldn't understand her because of how loud the refinery machines were. According to her, he fell, and then she pointed him out. So... Rika says he fell, then they started looking, but according to what my man here is saying, he started looking before he fell. So, I guess that's our point of contention. There was just too much noise. After a while, she just pointed the walkway. That's where we saw someone fall into the accursed vat. So, you're trying to get us to present this evidence over here. Nope. The music is still going. That's where we saw someone fall into that cursed vat. There was a guardrail that should have prevented him from falling, but he broke through it as he fell. I can understand it because of how loud the machinery was. Pointing at the walkway, so they looked at it. Then they saw a figure lean on the guardrail and break it. The figure fell from the walkway onto the vat of corrosive chemicals. That should have prevented him from falling. Do I present her testimony on this one? Nope. Alright, let's keep on pressing then. She was trying to tell us something. And this noise came from the machines in the refinery, I presume.
Those machines were loud as all hell! I could barely hear myself think with that noise. There was no way I could hear young Mosarika over all that.
She just pointed to the law. Okay, so maybe I'm supposed to press a new statement out of him here. You mentioned you saw someone fall into the vat. Did you not recognize the person?
Well, I didn't know the lad personally, and it was pretty far away. I couldn't get a good look at the person.
Maybe you should keep a pin on that detail. What happened to the guardrail before Justin fell? What was Mosarika doing? What was Aster doing? Was the guardrail extremely arrested before it broke? What happened to the guardrail? Okay. So what was Mosarika doing? What was Aster doing? Well, let's go ahead and see what all these append to it. What happened to the guardrail before Justin fell?
Well, I saw him lean onto it. It should have prevented him from falling off the walkway, but the rail just broke the instant he put his weight on it. That's how he fell into the vat.
Could you please include that detail in your testimony?
If you think it will help.
There was a guard that should have prevented him from falling, but he broke where as he fell. She just pointed to the walkway in there, and that's where we saw someone fall. Wait. Isn't this the exact same thing? Alright, I have a feeling that was not the one. I think that if I were to change the testimony to something else, that's the option I do to get it back. What was Mosarika doing? Okay, she was the one who pointed to the walkway in the first place. That's how we saw Justin fall.
Mosarika pointed it out. That's when we saw Justin fall.
Okay, so this might be the point where her seeing him fall and then him fall first. There we go. So I was correct. I just needed to pull out the correct piece of testimony to put it on there. The connection wasn't solid enough. Wait, what? Witness, you said that you saw the victim fall into the vat. Did this happen before, during, or after Mosarika tried to get your attention?
It was definitely after. If it weren't for the commotion she made, I wouldn't have looked up there in the first place.
It's just as you thought, but what does this mean?
What does it? Ask me what it means!
Morrison, I spoke with Mosarika about what she saw. She said that she saw Justin fall off the walkway and then rushed to you for help.
Aye. That sounds about right.
No, Morrison, it actually doesn't.
What do you mean?
If Mosarika saw Justin fall before she went to get help, then how did you see him fall after she came to you for help?
What?
Morrison, Mosarika came to you for help. This was in reaction to seeing Justin fall off the walkway. If that's true, then how could you have possibly seen Justin fall off the walkway again afterward?
I have no idea.
Mr. Cuthbert, you're disputing the witness's testimony over a minor detail. It's entirely possible that Mr. Morrison or Ms. Tudor simply misremembered. You know, I'm surprised that they've brought up the misremembered defense like 3 times in this game, and they never do it in Ace Attorney. Unless I'm mistaken. Unless I'm misremembering it. Yeah. I mean, what is to What is to keep people from saying, "Oh, I misremembered," whenever they are called out? Every single time, it's like, yeah, a lot of the time in Ace Attorney, we give them evidence, and the evidence still isn't solid enough, in my opinion, but they still roll with it. In this one, they're just going with the misremembrance, although my man here did say it made a striking impression on him. I highly doubt that Morrison misremembered the order of what happened. His testimony matches up exactly with the testimony of his companion. Then Ms. Tudor must be the one who's mistaken.
I'm compelled to agree with Miss Steelwind. These conflicting accounts seem extremely minor.
The prosecution's case is based on the broken guardrail, and only 3 individuals witnessed Justin Way break said guardrail. The defense asserts that these 3 witness accounts must be consistent with each other. Otherwise, this evidence is not strong enough to find my client liable. Please. The break in the guardrail is directly over the vat. That is enough physical evidence. It proves that the victim fell in because the railing broke. How do we know that the guardrail wasn't broken by some other event? That's ludicrous. You're clearly just playing devil's advocate.
I'll admit that I also find the defense's assertion dubious. However, I see no harm in allowing Miss Tudor to testify to what she saw.
Rika saw a lot less than Morrison and Nasser did, and her testimony was a lot less detailed. But the one detail she did remember was that she saw Justin fall off the walkway. Hopefully, her testimony might clear up what happened.
Bailiff, please escort Miss Tudor to the witness stand.
Hi, Rika. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. This is probably Rika's first time testifying in a courtroom. You hope she'll be okay. As if I need such introductions, but allow me to indulge you all. Oh, Lord, is she seriously doing that here? I am Mosarika Tudor, Dark Lord of Ornax, High Arch Magi of the Cadmium Flames, and business proprietor of Sweet Confections.
I see. I was unaware we were in the presence of such a renowned individual.
Wait, does he actually believe her? And that's why the illegal sim visual novel judges are absolute goats. Your Honor, Mosarika Tudor is the owner of a local cafe in Oranax.
But isn't she also a High Arch Magi?
I am. No, she really isn't. Tyrion! You're ruining my flow. Yeah, stop ruining her flow, Tyrion. You would say that your flow is the most disrupted right now. Anyway, Ms. Tudor, you were at the Oranax refinery on the night of the accident, and you witnessed the moment that the victim fell off the walkway. Am I correct? Yes, that's right. Now, why is she sad? Is she sad to be remembering that moment? Or is she sad that I'm antagonizing her? I mean, not really antagonizing, I'm just doing my job, but to her she might interpret it that way. According to your statement, you ran up to Morrison after you saw Justin fall off the walkway. The problem is that there's a contradiction between both of your testimonies. There's a contradiction? Morrison testified that he didn't see the victim fall into the vat until after you approached him. This wouldn't make sense, though. You saw the victim fall off the walkway before you ran up to Morrison. Morrison couldn't have possibly seen the victim fall again after that. What you hiding? Oh, I think I see what happened. You do? I think you're misunderstanding what I said before. I misunderstood you. If that's true, could you please testify to the court exactly what happened? Please include every detail you can remember. Sure. I was at the refinery when I heard a strange sound from the walkway. When I looked to see what it was, I saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail, but he hadn't fallen into the vat yet. I saw him barely hanging on the edge of the platform. Oh, really? You saw him hanging? Well, if I recall, he was leaning on that thing. I didn't know how to get the walkway from there, so I looked for help on the grounds and found Mr. Morrison. He must have seen Justin lose his grip of the ledge and fall into the vat after that. Now, this seems pretty cut and dry to me, but for all I know, I'm going to have to unearth another bit of testimony. We'll see. Who disrupts my slumber? Ah.
So, the victim didn't immediately fall into the vat. He was hanging onto the edge of the walkway. That would explain how Mr. Morrison saw the victim fall into the vat after Ms. Tudor saw him fall off the walkway.
I think she knows. She knows that this is a Swiss cheese testimony.
In any case, Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination.
It can't be more complicated than this. According to my health report, there was a little drop in quality, like 10 minutes into the stream. Oh well. I can't believe I had dropped 1,450 frames. I was at the refinery when you heard a strange sound from the walkway. Either the walkway's guardrail. You haven't fallen in the vat yet. I saw him barely hanging on the edge of the platform. Okay, after that, you must have seen Justin lose his grip of the ledge and fall into the vat. Did you also see this moment? No, I didn't. I was so busy trying to talk to Mr. Morrison that I didn't see it. I didn't even know what happened until after they shut down the machines. Only Rika had seen the moment that Justin fell off, too. They've been able to compare her statement for more than asked her. Focus on the other parts of her testimony. Oh, really? Tumbled over the walkway's guardrail. He hadn't fallen in the vat. I saw him barely hanging onto the edge of the platform. But, according to you, they look there. A figure lean on the guardrail and break it. Over. She said over, didn't she? Rika, you said that the victim tumbled over the guardrail, as in he was thrown over it. Yes, that's right. What? Did you see the moment that the guardrail broke? No, I didn't. I already told you that, didn't I? But you did see the moment that Justin fell off the walkway. And in that moment, did you see Justin break the guardrail? No! Like I told you, I didn't see the moment that the guardrail broke. But that's the thing, Rika. According to Morrison, Justin Way broke the guardrail as he fell into the vat. More specifically, he said that Justin was standing on the walkway when this happened. What? According to the prosecution, Justin Way leaned on a faulty guardrail and broke it, falling into the vat. But that's not what you saw, was it, Rika? No! I saw him tumble over the guardrail.
I'm afraid I don't see the importance of this, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you accusing the witness of perjury?
There's definitely something going on here. But what? No, Sir Rika's a mage. You don't want to suspect her, but you need to consider every possibility. What is happening here? So... either Rika's lying, Morrison is lying, they're both lying, or they're both telling the truth. So... I think they were trying to tell me that I need to, maybe accuse, Rika of lying? Or maybe they're both telling the truth? No, yeah, so the thing is that the truth is... What angle do I put this on? Because here's the thing. Based off of our metagaming here and the introduction of the case, we know that he was thrown over it. But the thing is, if he had been thrown over it, but we don't know if that happened at the same time that Rika was there. So maybe they're both telling the truth, and some small, and like, I don't know, some detail was, well, guess I'll... This is actually a tough one for me. I'm not seeing into the veil here. So... You're both telling the truth? You guess? But how does that make sense? If we assume that Rika and Morrison are telling the truth, and you remember the exact order of events, Rika saw Justin go up the walkway. When I looked to see what it was, I saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail. He hadn't fallen into the vat yet. Saw him barely hanging onto the edge of the platform. Justin was able to grab on the walkway legs. That's when Rika went to look for help. That's when she ran into Morrison and asked her. Most Rika came running towards us, trying to tell us something, but the machines were too loud. Pointed to the walkway, and that's when we saw someone fall into the vat. By the time we could get them to stop the machines, it was too late. Well, we didn't see any illusion. The only magic we saw was the magic that was used to weaken the guardrail. Unless that magic can be used to create some kind of fake scene anyway. Here's Astor's account of events. You can see anything on his face, much too dark to make out his features. Astor and Morrison couldn't see Justin's face. Well, until their testimonies never sat right with you. The suspicions they found Justin's body in the vat after all. You know for a fact that he fell into the vat. You never considered one other possibility. Justin survived the accident, another person fell into the vat. Justin didn't fall into the vat. Oh. So then, Justin fell into the vat at an earlier time, and then someone else fell in, kind of like a dummy to stage it? Maybe. Another person? Is that really possible? But it's the only thing that makes sense. It also explains how Rika, Morrison, and Astor all saw someone fall off the walkway at different times. But then, who is this second person? You don't have a choice. Even if you don't know all the facts, this is the only conclusion you can draw.
I think you've had quite enough time to deliberate, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you accusing the witness or not?
I'm not accusing the witness of perjury, Your Honor. Both Miss Tudor's and Mr. Morrison's testimonies appear to contradict each other, but they are both telling the truth. Then please enlighten us, Mr. Cuthbert. How could both of their testimonies possibly be true? Well, I think there's only one possible explanation. Both Miss Tudor and Mr. Morrison saw someone fall off the walkway, but the person that Miss Tudor saw and the person that Mr. Morrison saw were two different people. you serious, Mr. Cuthbert? Do you honestly think that some random person fell into that moments after Justin Way fell in? It's the only conclusion that makes sense, Ms. Steelwind. Ms. Tudor knew the victim and recognized him. That's how she was able to confirm that it was him that fell into the vat. However, Mr. Morrison and his companion did not know the victim personally. They could barely make out his features. They only assumed that it was him after learning that he fell in. Please. It's far more likely that Ms. Tudor is simply mistaken about what she saw. What? No! I'm sure I saw Justin tumble over the guardrail. Now let's not forget Ms. Tudor's allegiances. As a beneficiary of the Dracogen Trading Company, she has every reason to confound this case in the defendant's favor. That's not...
That's enough! This is a civil case, Mr. Cuthbert, not some murder mystery for you to throw wild theories towards.
Looks like you don't have a choice. You're gonna have to use your trump card. You have one piece of evidence that implies this wasn't a simple accident. Let me see here. How do I... Transmutation on the guardrails. Well, we barely lasted half an hour before this became a murder trial. Are you sure about that, Your Honor? What? Justin Way's death was reported as an unfortunate accident. As a result, the city guard put minimal resources into their investigation. More specifically, there was no reason to call in the Arcane Inquisition. What are you talking about now? Why would the Inquisition be... No. Are you saying that... Unlike the Arnak City Guard, I have a mage capable of casting Detect Magic. My bodyguard, Celeste McCoy, scanned this crime scene for magical traces. And she found traces of transmutation on the broken guardrail.
Traces of magic. Traces of magic were found at the crime scene. But that would make this...
a potential homicide, Your Honor.
This is ridiculous!
The accident took place within an arcane refinery. Those traces could easily come from the purification process. Miss Steelwind, these traces were found only on the guardrails that Justin broke. We didn't find them anywhere else. We can't be certain of what happened, but it's clear that a mage used magic near the scene of the accident. Foul play may have been involved. So my theory of another person falling into the vat is entirely possible. My client is not at fault for the guardrail breaking.
Considering this shocking revelation, there is still much we do not know about Justin Way's death. With that said, I have no choice but to suspend the trial of Von Sanctus versus Dracogen.
You had a feeling this would happen. Just like your other cases, the court won't pass a verdict until a culprit is found.
The court will give the Arcane Inquisition time to investigate the scene and these supposed magical traces. You'll resume the trial in 2 days' time. Court is adjourned.
Pow. Well, here we go again. Well, at least we survived the first day. But it kind of feels like we're back to square one. Yeah. The Inquisition will get involved. They know the magic played a role in what happened. If you want them to dismiss the case against Dracogen, you're going to have to find out exactly what happened. If that's even possible. Hey, are you okay?
You feel a headache coming on?
Yeah, I think I'm just tired. Well, this day has been exhausting. It's pretty late. Should we head back to the inn and continue the investigation tomorrow? No. I want to take another look at the refinery before the Inquisition gets there. Ugh! The throbbing pain in your skull seems to disagree with you doing that. Yeah, no, we're heading back to the inn. And fine, really. Tyrion, I know you're anxious about the trial, but you need to get some rest. Celeste, it's fine. It's not. You're going to work yourself. Would you just stay out of my way? Again, your voice came out louder than you meant it to. Damn. Fine. Whatever. Do what you want. It's this damn city. Being back here is really getting to you. That's all the more reason to get through this trial as soon as possible. The soreness in your head doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Perhaps she's right. You'll be better off investigating the scene after some rest. Damn! After all that effort, he still decides just to go rest it off. Another nightmare overtakes your sleep. You clutch the note tightly in your hands as you read it. I'm sorry, Tyrion. There are so many things that I wanted to tell you. So many things I wanted to show you. But I'm afraid I can't do that now. I need you to be strong now. This world is bleak, merciless, and unforgiving. But I've seen you. I know how bright the light within you is. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gates as I once did. Use it to reclaim the future. Her eyes? I don't understand.
It doesn't matter. All you have to do is stop the execution.
If you can just distract the knights long enough, you can save her and run away. You'll have to abandon your home, but at least she'll still be with you. As you try to sprint towards the gallows, a knight grabs your arm and pulls you back. Hey, kid. You can't cross this point. Hey! Stop that! You fruitlessly try to break his grip by striking him with your bare hands, but he barely feels anything through his armor. You continue delivering blow after blow to him, but it does nothing. Your knuckles start to bleed. Irritated by your behavior, the knight pins you to the ground. Damn kid. You desperately struggle against him to no avail, and from this position, you have no choice but to watch what's happening. Wait! Stop! You make eye contact with your mother, one last time. Her body goes limp. You stare blankly at the hanging body. No. This isn't... Mom? You clutch your note tightly in your hand. You feel a comforting yet fleeting warmth from it. They certainly don't do any noodle incidents in this game. They make you live it. Tyrion? Celeste? You snap back awake. It was another nightmare. You notice that tears are streaming down your face. You quickly try to bring up your sleeve to wipe them away, but you realize that Celeste is firmly gripping your hand. Why are you... sorry. You were shouting in your sleep, but you seemed to calm down a little whenever I held your hand. So, I've been doing that. Oh. Tyrion, are you okay? You're not. You've been acting weird since we arrived in Oranax. It's nothing. It's not nothing. Does it have something to do with your mother? For the past 2 nights, you've been calling out for her in your sleep. Please, just talk to me. I'm your friend, aren't I? You never even realized it. You didn't have many people in your life after you left Oranax. You only had Miss Tamora, and she never wanted to talk to about what happened. But Celeste, she's been there since you started your career. Of course she's your friend. Come on, Tyrion! Open your heart! It'll be okay. It all happened a long time ago. We lived here together in that old house. My mother was a merchant and a mage. Your mother was a mage? But I guess the gift of magic skipped my generation. I could never use it. About 10 years ago, my mother's business partner was found, murdered, and then they found traces of magic at the crime scene. They thought that your mom did it. Ms. Tamora was my mother's defense attorney for the trial. She did everything she could to get her acquitted, but she could never find the real culprit. They found her guilty of first-degree murder. I tried to stop her execution, but... Your voice starts breaking. Tyrion. I'm sorry, Celeste. What? Coming back here has brought back so many memories. I thought I already moved on from what happened. If I could just keep saving people as an attorney, then maybe I could put all this behind me. But I'm back in Oranax, and those feelings are still so fresh in my mind. It's like I'm still the same powerless child from 10 years ago. I know that I've been taking that out on you. I'm really sorry. Don't be. I get it. I know what it's like to lose someone like that. She does, doesn't she? You were there. When my dad was murdered, you were there for me. If it weren't for you, I would have still believed that he died hating me. Celeste slowly claps your hands within hers again. It feels warm and comforting. Has this been the warmth you've been feeling for the last few nights? So, just let me be here for you. You can feel yourself dozing off. You have to snap yourself back awake. Sorry, the last few days have been a little tiring. It's okay. Just focus on falling asleep. I'll stay with you for as long as you need me to. I am also feeling pretty tired, though. I'll just rest my eyes a bit. For the first time since you arrived in Oranax, you finally received a good night's rest. You wake up the next morning feeling well rested. You feel almost a little too rested. You feel really reluctant to leave the comfort of your bed. Celeste, are you there? Your hand feels warm. Ah. Why does this feel familiar? This angle. You can feel your heart stop. Celeste? What do you want? Her eyes slowly open as she wakes from her equally restful sleep. She drowsily scans her surroundings. You both dart out of the bed. So, you seem to be doing better. You're okay, right? Yeah. Thank you for last night. Well, don't take that out of context. Poor phrasing. Are we not doing phrasing anymore? Hello. Are you there, Mr. Cuthbert? What the hell? Your soul nearly jumps out of your body. You suddenly hear Aster's voice, and it's extremely loud. You look around to see where he is, but he's nowhere to be found. Aster? Thank the scared Lord. I finally gotten through to you two. What? Where are you? I'm using a spell to speak with you right now. I apologize for contacting you in this manner, but I was worried that something had happened to you two. Right, of course. Anyways, what do you want at this time of day? This time of day? Mr. Cuthbert, it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. What? 3 p.m.? You missed the entire morning! I hope everything's okay. Did something happen? Oh, don't you know it? Yeah. You know, one thought occurred to me. I know this absolutely isn't the case, but I can just imagine that Aster and Arya are getting together, and Arya is just complaining about work, talking about this one upstart attorney that keeps on beating her because the truth is always in his favor. And meanwhile, Aster's just sitting there, absolutely just becoming a fan of Tyrion through Arya's complaining. It's like, he did what? He was able to convict a noble? Do go on! And Arya getting absolutely miffed about the fact that he's so happy about it. I know that's not the case. In fact, I have no idea what the nature of their relationship is. If they even spend any time together at all, or if it's some sort of arranged thing where they probably haven't even seen each other's face yet. But I just like to imagine that being the case, where Arya is just ranting and raving and Aster is getting his daily dose. Never underestimate what fatigue stacking does to you. Oh, don't you know it? The very first night that I slept after coming home after my vacation, the jet lag just drop kicked me, and I woke up at around 1:30, but my brother woke up at around 3:30. So we both went through it. We caught up on a lot in that first night. Anyways, this is a funny screenshot to just start yapping on. No, everything's okay. Anyways, if it's already this late, we should head over to the refinery. Yes, the investigation. Let's do that immediately. Celeste immediately power walks out of the room. You quickly follow after her. If you're heading to the refinery, do you mind if I meet with you two? There's something that I'd like to ask you. Sure. Wonderful. I'll see you at the town square. You quickly meet Aster in the town square while you walk to the refinery. You and Celeste walk to your destination with purpose. A little too much purpose. It's almost as if you're both trying to distract yourselves from something. Every time you make eye contact with Celeste, she quickly glances away. Things are a little awkward, but you must prefer this over the tense mood between you two yesterday. 100%. A whole buck. Anyways, Aster, What was that spell you used earlier? It let you speak with us without being there. Oh, that was a conjuration spell. It's called Send Message. I just feel a little bit uneasy that you can just contact us out of the blue like that. More importantly, you're a little worried about what you might have seen. Don't worry, the spell is perfectly harmless. I can give you the parameters if you'd like. Is that so? For the duration of the spell, the caster projects their voice to communicate with the target. Anyone within a 30-foot radius of the target can hear the caster's voice. The caster can also hear sounds close to the target, allowing for two-way communication. The target must be a person known to the caster. The person must also be conscious, otherwise the spell will fail. Alternatively, the target can be an object that is attuned to the caster's magic. Thank you, Mr. Anton Chekhov. I'm sure this will come in handy later. Looks like it only facilitates communication. You definitely didn't see the embarrassing state that you two were in. By the way, I'm not trying to be rude, but why are you following us? Oh, yes. I was still trying to think of a proper method to ask you, but you both seem to be on edge at the moment. What did you want to ask us? You already told me about the traces of transmutation at the refinery, but the trial yesterday really highlighted the significance of that. I can't simply stand by if I was witness to a murder. And may I join you in your investigation? He's nervous that we're gonna say no. You're questioning his motives for a variety of reasons. He was the only other mage at the scene of the crime, and between him and Rika, you definitely trust Rika more. Alright, I see no reason why not. Celeste shoots you a concerned look. You subtly gesture for her to keep an eye on Aster. She nods in acknowledgement. Aster is your prime suspect right now, and he has to be aware of that. But if you keep him close to you, you might be able to catch some dissonant thoughts through the eye. You arrive at the refinery and see that several Knights of the Inquisition have already arrived. And there he is, the man. You glance at the damaged walkway and see Commander White there with a few of his knights. He seems to notice you too, but he only pays you a passing glance.
Oh, Mr. Cuthbert, I've been waiting for you. For quite a while, may I add.
Right, sorry about that.
I suppose you have your reasons, and you have more than proven yourself worthy of my trust. Although,
Draco Jane gives Aster a suspicious side glance. He appears to have come to the same conclusion that you did.
Well, you've given me little reason to doubt your judgment. I'll leave the investigation in your capable hands.
Speaking of the investigation, where should we start first? Now that we've gotten the Inquisition involved, we might be able to learn more about the magical traces at the crime scene. You look at Commander White, who is inspecting the walkway. He's probably your best bet for getting more information about the investigation. Anything new? It may be enough to dissolve 2 bodies.
Arcanum.
Yep, and there's the traces of magic. Every trace of magic is now suspicious. But every trace of magic over here is to be expected, apparently.
I'm quite pleased with your work during the trial. I'm glad I put my trust in you.
With his ever-increasingly sussy face. Thank you. we're still a long way from getting your case dismissed, and showing the possibility of a murder definitely make things much more complicated.
I see no reason to blame yourself. You merely played the cards that you were dealt. Honestly, I'm still trying to make sense of what happened.
Do you have any idea who the second victim might be?
I have no idea. But all my other employees are accounted for. I doubt that it was anyone who worked for me.
But then who was it? Ah, all employees are present.
To be perfectly honest, I am a little concerned with how many unauthorized people were there that day. He has a point.
Well, let's move over to the walkway and see what we can find.
Oh, it's you two. And how's this? Wait. Well?
Commander, please don't.
What the hell are you two doing with the Crown Prince?
What? It appears that my cover's been blown, as they say. Did he just say that you're the Crown Prince? Yes. My full name is Asta de Wyvengard IV, heir to the throne of Wyvengard. Well, this has got interesting. I mean, it already was interesting, but now it just got interesting. This entire time, you've been speaking to the heir to the throne? I was hoping that it wouldn't come to this. Ah, I can see that his full name is now on display, Aster de Wyvengard. His occupation is prince, he can use conjuration, and he's 26.
Sorry, Your Majesty.
Please, none of that. I would much prefer if you all continue to call me Asta.
No, I could never.
You've never seen the commander this flustered before. Why did you find the need to hide this from us? I didn't want you to think less of me. I admire your work, Mr. Cuthbert, which is why I was afraid you wouldn't speak with me if you knew the truth. In a way, he was correct to assume that. As a member of the royal family, he represents everything that you and Ms. Tamora are fighting against. But he does look like a sincere and genuine person. And at the very least, you haven't seen anything incriminating through the Eye of Horus. Is that the truth? Or is he just really that good at hiding it? Anyways, this complicates things greatly. Aster is your primary suspect, so if he did commit the murder, you would have to implicate a member of the royal family. A nobleman is one thing, but would it even be possible to convict the crown prince? Well, no matter what, you won't stop seeking justice. Somewhere, Apollo just sneezed. Doesn't matter who you're facing, be they man, king, or god. Yes, God himself is in that vent right there above my head. And princes aside, you came here to talk to the commander about his investigation. Since Aster's accompanying you, he might be more inclined to share details with you. Lay it on me! Lay it on thick, my dude. I'm surprised that the Inquisition is even here. I thought you were all busy investigating Aster's missing ship.
Wait, you know about that?
The commander glances nervously at Aster.
We wanted to put more of our people there, but Lady Steelwind insisted that we focus on the Dracogen case.
As you should. I would much rather have you find justice for Justin Way. That's far more important than looking for some musty old ship.
Uh-oh. What is this worry about?
Right. Is this kid for real?
Have you discovered anything about the magical traces here?
We did take a look at it, and it's definitely suspicious. The only rails with magical traces on them are these. And the fact that we can still see them means that they were left within the last 48 hours. It's looking pretty likely that someone used transmutation on the rails that night. Still doesn't make sense, though.
Why would someone weaken these rails specifically?
I have no idea. Just as confused as you are. If this really is foul play, then someone knew Justin, or some other person would be in this exact place.
Has the Inquisition found any evidence to prove my theory?
They made about a second person falling into that vat. Sorry, kid, but it ain't that simple. The body of that Justin fella sort of, dissolved.
That's quite, gruesome.
If another person had fallen in, their body would have dissolved too. We could only find some bone fragments, blood, and a lot of metallic shards.
Have you been able to use divination magic to identify the bone fragments?
Yep. The ones we found all belong to Justin Way. No signs of bones from another person.
That contents. The Inquisition was able to fish out several pieces of bone matter and metallic shards from the vat that Justin Way fell into. Divination magic confirms that the bones belong to him. None of the bone matter found belonged to another person. Well, there wasn't any evidence of another person falling in. Could your theory have been incorrect then? Are you sure that you and Morrison saw a person fall into the vat? Are you sure that you and Morrison saw a person fall into the vat, Aster? I definitely saw someone fall off the walkway and break the guardrails. Although, thinking back on it, I didn't recognize who exactly that person was. The Harbour Master and I were pretty far away, and it wasn't well lit. Do you think the second victim's body fully dissolved? That might explain why you can't find any bone matter from them. No, if my theory is correct, the second victim fell in minutes after Justin fell. It wouldn't make sense if that person's body fully dissolved before Justin's. But why can't you find any bone matter of this second person? Unless it isn't a person. Maybe it's one of those constructs, huh? They did say that they found traces of metal, didn't they? So, maybe a construct was pushed in, like whoever staged this weakened the rails and then had their construct break the railing, and if they're able to make him look like Justin, all the more to the case of it. By the way, Draco Jin might want to hear about this. If the liquid is so volatile, how were you able to take things out of that? Oh, the liquid isn't volatile anymore. When the Harbour Master and I reported what we saw, the workers poured some sort of alchemical solution into that.
Yeah, according to them, that solution neutralized the evocation magic in those chemicals. From what I hear, magical liquid in these vats is usually blue. That'll probably be a point of contention later on. A solution that they poured in turned it green. Yes, unfortunately, it was too late. By the time they neutralized the liquid, Justin's body had already mostly dissolved. And if they had neutralized it so quickly, we probably would have found anything from the victim.
When O. Morrison and Esther de Wyvergard reported the accident, the refinery workers poured a yellow alchemical solution into the vat. This solution neutralized the destructive magic of the vat liquids and turned it green. They usually blue. If they had neutralized liquid, everything in the vat would have been completely destroyed. Interesting. I still can't believe you've been the Crown Prince this entire time. I wasn't trying to deceive you. I was just worried that you might treat me differently if you knew the truth. Oh, right. Should I, call Steelwind over here for you? They'll probably want to see you. No, I don't. I think it would be best if you didn't. Oh, I remember now. If you're the Crown Prince, that makes Prosecutor Steelwind your fiancé. Huh! Right. Lady Freyga mentioned that during the Nightgrave case. That's why the name Astra sounded so familiar. You saw it in her thoughts. Not Miriam. She caused me so much trouble by publicly revealing my marriage to Lady Steelwind. I had hoped to keep it a secret for so much longer. Where is Prosecutor Steelwind anyway? She always investigates these crime scenes herself. It's that she wanted to investigate the disappearing ship personally. He seems really hell-bent on finding the people responsible. I did attempt to kidnap the Crown Prince after all. Aw, she must really care about you, Aster. No, I highly doubt that. It's a loveless arranged marriage. Was I unfortunately right on the money there? What? Our marriage was arranged by our parents. She had no say in the matter, and I know that she only tolerates me for the good of our kingdom. I'm sure she still cares about you. No. I can tell by the way she behaves around me. Her hands quiver with rage, and she can't even bear to look at me when I speak to her. Damn. They probably never convene for, like, tea or anything. A classic necromancer attorney wouldn't be helpful here. Yep. You can't resurrect what ain't there. Yeah. I can't believe she treats even the Crown Prince like that. She may be my fiancée, but our marriage is purely political. She endures so much because of her name. I guess you aristocrats have your own share of problems. Well, I guess we can... Let me see here. Wait. Why was that dark for a second there? Oh well. Dracogen. We spoke with the Inquisition about what they found in the vat, and they could only find bone matter belonging to Justin. Well, that and several metallic shards. What? That can't be right. I know. I was hoping to find some hard evidence to prove my theory. I'll have to find another approach to prove it. No, that's not what I meant. There shouldn't be any solid matter in those vats. Are you talking about the metallic shards? I just assumed they were some kind of magical byproduct? No. The refinement process requires that everything in the vat remain a liquid. Solid matter would absorb the liquid's magical properties and taint the entire batch. So those metal shards weren't supposed to be in there. Do you think they came from broken pieces of the railing? Possibly. We'll probably want to double check with the commander to make sure. But this is definitely strange. You'll need to take a moment to work through all of this. From what Dracogen said, there shouldn't have been any solid matter in those vats. You've already confirmed that the bone matter they found came from Justin's body. That leaves another question. How did metallic shards appear in the vat? Where did the metallic shards come from? Tutor away. A metal object was thrown into the vat. Something was thrown into the vat to appear to be a body breaking the rail. Or maybe Arya finds Esther attractive enough that she gets tongue-tied. You would? Well, get in line, my friend. A metal object was thrown into the vat. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Whatever that object was, it probably dissolved into the shards that Orm found. That's the thing, though. What should the magical liquid have done to the object? Magical liquid in the vat was extremely volatile. It was destructive enough to reduce the entire human body to a few shards of bone. The vat liquid should have partially... Oh. The vat liquid should have completely destroyed the metal object? The object would have been completely destroyed. We shouldn't have found any metal shards in the first place. Right. But we did find them. How do you explain that? Why wasn't the metal object fully destroyed? That night, something happened that prevented the metal object from being fully destroyed. That liquid is neutralized shortly after the accident was reported. Okay. So then... Oh. So if Justin fell in first, he would have gotten dissolved. But if something metal was thrown in afterward, then there wouldn't have been enough time for it to fully dissolve. Another possible angle, a construct that tried to save Justin and failed, fell in after him. Well, the thing is, we have to remember what happened in the introduction to this case. Someone bumped into Justin and then tried to save him, but it didn't go right. So that is the question. We will just have to review the footage of what was revealed to us at the beginning of the case. When Astor and Morrison reported the accident, the workers immediately neutralized the liquid's magic. They did this to attempt to save Justin, but it would have also stopped the liquid from destroying anything else within the vat. So that's why you found those metal shards. Whatever that metal object was, it was only partially destroyed. This means that it fell into the vat around the same time that Justin fell into the vat. If it fell a while before the accident, it would have dissolved completely. Pardon me. And if it fell after the accident, it wouldn't have dissolved at all. Furthermore, whatever the object was, it was probably as large as Justin. A large unknown metal object fell into the vat around the same that Justin Way fell into it. Magical liquid reduced it to several small metallic shards. So, victim number 1 was Justin. Rika saw that. And then victim number 2, I'm guessing, was a construct that was thrown, that was leaning against the railing, the compromised railing, to make it look like the railing failed and killed Justin. That is going to be my story moving forward until I get more evidence. Do you think this metal object has something to do with the second victim? Maybe they were holding it when they fell in. Or maybe the metal object is the second victim. I'm not sure, but it's definitely possible. We should take a closer look at the metallic shards that Commander White found. Those shards might help us identify the second victim, if that person even exists. Let's see here. What if I present the shards to you, sir? No. Doesn't really have much to say about that. Metallic shards. Commander White, you mentioned that you found several metallic shards in the vat. Do you mind if we take a look at them?
Sure. Just don't get any bright ideas about taking anything. You'll also want to avoid touching them with your bare hands. The liquid is neutralized, but it definitely ain't good for your skin.
The commander motions to one of the Inquisition Knights. After a few moments, he brings up the large barrel filled with metallic shards. What? There were that many? What could have possibly fallen into the vat? Well, I guess we should get started. Ugh. You spend some time closely inspecting the metallic shards with the Celeste. The shards are only the size of small rocks. It's difficult to find any discerning features. Any luck on your end? No. I haven't found... Whew! Celeste? I think I found something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, though. Celeste pulls out a metallic shard with some sort of engraving on it. Unlike the other shards, this one looks far less damaged. The engraving on it looks like some sort of crest. That's the crest of House von Sanctus. Isn't he the noble that's charging Dracogen? Oh. Well, I doubt that Lord von Sanctus was the second victim. Aster, do you know who would have a house emblem like this? Normally, only the Lord's retainers would have the emblems on this house. Well, I doubt that Justin was the one who had this in his possession. Do you think one of von Sanctus's retainers fell into the vat that night? It's definitely possible. But if that did happen, why haven't we heard about it? Lloyd von Sanctus would have the resources to keep something like that out of the public eye. The only way to know for sure would be to ask him ourselves. If we could talk to him, he would never cooperate with us. You glance at the prince. Someone of his station would have no trouble meeting with Lord von Sanctus. An idea begins to form in your mind. Unless... What is it, Mr. Cuthbert? Aster, do you think you could help us interrogate Lord von Sanctus?
Really? You need my help? I'm so happy.
In this instance, it'd be very difficult to speak to him by ourselves. But as the Crown Prince, he'd be much more inclined to speak with you.
Of course! I'd be happy to help!
You might be overplaying your hand by utilizing Aster this way. You're still wary of the Prince, especially since he was one of the few mages at the scene. Will this really work, though? It's not ideal, but it's the only lead we have so far. And it still bothers you. Why haven't you found any bone matter from a second person? Maybe you're overthinking it. You should pursue every lead and see where it takes you. And to do that, you need to find out where Lord von Sanctus is. Alright, so we're talking about the railing, talking about... There's evocation magic there, and there's the transmutation from before. Well, I guess we'll just go to Von Sanctus Manor, and we'll probably get our heinies kicked out of it. So this is Von Sanctus's house. Be more appropriate to call this building a palace rather than a house. Yeah. What's that smell? As you head further into the manor, you're hit with a very pungent and sour odor. It almost burns the interior of your nostrils every time you inhale. Von Sanctus would also have the resources to make a big stink about it and make Draco Gen Company look worse. Just a person-shaped object? Well, that is the assumption I'm going with. So either it's a construct, or they tossed in a mannequin. Which is even worse. Think of the poor mannequins. Well, we're here. Look around at the manor and don't see anyone nearby. It looks like Lord Sanctus isn't home at the moment. Perhaps we should try looking somewhere else. A long flight of stairs. Let's not take any risks.
Preparing Arcanum.
No magic to detect? I guess we're going somewhere else. How about Le Café? Rika, you here? The place is completely empty. Closed for today. She closed restaurants for today. She's in for questioning. We'll have to go someplace else.
Preparing Arcanum.
No magic? Alright, guess we're going into the town square.
We mustn't let such idealistic notions throw our nation into chaos!
You arrive at the town square and see Lord Von Sanctus speaking to several spectators from a podium. Well, there's Lord Von Sanctus. He appears to be giving some sort of speech. You do your best to remain hidden from view while you listen in. By the way, does Aster have some hips going on? Or am I just seeing things? Wish I could see the full art. But it doesn't look like there's any way for me to get rid of the text. Or is this it? Nope. Definitely not it. They had it coming after the Skyrim mannequins? I suppose so.
Please understand, the actions of the nobility seem callous. However, we only have your best interest at heart. This controversy with the Dracogen's trading company is just one of the many examples. Those so-called unions that men like him support may seem appealing, but they only obfuscate and hinder the nobility from protecting the working class. Men like Stefanik Dracogen are merely charlatans. They only seek financial gain by strong-arming your true benefactors.
True benefactors? What a joke. I knew that Von Sanctus was wary of Dracogen. I never expected him to be this zealous about getting rid of him. I think it's less about Dracogen specifically, and more about what he represents. Explain. The Dracogen Trading Company has presented tangible proof that its policies are both effective and profitable. Even businesses that have no affiliation with him have started following his example. Von Sanctus is merely a relic of the past. Now I think he knows that his archaic ideals won't survive in this landscape. I can only hope that our Grand Kingdom recognizes as danger as I have. The pompous noble leaves the podium as the citizens ponder his words. Ugh, what a load of garbage. It's obvious that Von Sanctus knows his days are numbered. But look what happened. We let the common folk set their own standards and a young man died. Guess you have a point there. You saw Von Sanctus get into the carriage shortly after his speech. It appears to be heading back to his manor. Now we can go into Von Sanctus' manor. The upper class almost always only have their own interests at heart. Damn everyone else. Even in DC Comics, Bruce Wayne is an exception, not the norm. Precisely. That goes for real life, too! Anyways, we saw Von Sanctus heading back here. We should be able to speak with him soon. Wait. Tyrion. Isn't he gonna recognize us? We can't really avoid that. If we want to question him, we need to speak to him directly. Even a noble like him would have to act civilly with a crown prince present. You mean like how you civilly embarrassed and insulted him a few days ago? Right. You completely forgot about the chess tournament. Well, it's not as if we can hide our identities from him. I face him in the chess tournament, and I'm Draco Jen's attorney. He knows what we look like. What we look like? Wait, that's it! What? Illucio! Wait, what are you... Wow, that's quite impressive, Celeste. Right? I've been practicing that one. What are you two talking about? I think you should see for yourself. The prince gestures towards a nearby mirror in the hallway. You reluctantly approach it. Just what exactly did Celeste do to you? What? What did it look like, Reese Rudolph? It looks great, right? Eris taught that one to me. Do you honestly expect him to fall for this? He's probably a powerful mage. He'll see right through this. Are you telling me that the Crown Prince is here? Why didn't you notify me sooner? Von Sanctus is shouting at his attendant from down the hallway. He seems to be quickly heading this way. Uh-oh. You might want to disguise yourself as well, Celeste. Don't encourage her. This is extremely illegal. Right. Look, you should just dispel this ridiculous disguise and... He's almost here. I can't think of anyone. I'm terribly sorry for keeping your highness waiting. Illucio! What was that? What are you talking about? I could have sworn I heard something. I didn't hear anything either. You must be imagining things. Oh dear. Celeste Steelwind. Well, there you go. That's the, that's gonna be the conclusion. Pay no attention to the box art. Celeste marries into the Steelwind family. Everyone puts themselves and their interests first. Just human nature. There. Scaled Lord help us. Of all people she could have chosen. And at least she's able to mimic her voice well enough. Oh, Lady Steelwind! I wasn't expecting you until much later. Well, I do not answer to you. I shall do as I shall please. Yes, I suppose you have a habit of doing that. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like he's seen through your disguises. He must have other things on his mind if his guard is down like this. Anyway, Von Sanctus, pardon the abrupt intrusion. I came by to pay my respects. I'm honored by your Majesty's appearance. Unfortunately, I am quite busy with administrative matters at the moment. Too busy to show hospitality to the heir to the throne. No, I didn't. I wasn't. I suppose I have some time to speak with you. The conditions aren't ideal. At least you have Von Sanctus here with you. You shall let Prince Aster make small talk with him for a bit. After that, you can subtly bring up the Von Sanctus crest that you found in the vat. I heard about the charges that you brought against the Draco Gen Trading Company. Forgive my bluntness, but is everything well within your estate? Oh, that. I am simply cleaning house. Nothing more. I've dealt with plenty of men like Draco Gen before, and this time will be no different. I understand that he may be taking business away from you. But does that really warrant you taking such drastic measures?
It's not just about the business. It's these ideas that he's putting into people's heads. He's allowed these unions to continue existing, and other businesses are following his example. It's absolutely absurd. It's as if the entire world has gone mad.
I see.
Our society only functions when the lower class knows their place.
If that's how our society functions, then perhaps it is flawed.
You're still young, Prince Astor. These righteous ideals may sound appealing, but they are the path to disorder. The common folk do not care about the well-being of our kingdom as a whole. They only care about themselves individually. If we allow them to become empowered, they will use that power selfishly. It is up to the upper class to maintain order.
I see.
He's sad and he's angry.
By the way, I'm surprised that you're representing Lord Von Sanctus, Lady Steelwind.
Oh, right. What is he doing? It's hard enough to maintain this ruse.
I knew that you recently became a prosecutor, but I never imagined that you'd represent a noble.
Don't get ahead of yourself, Astor. What does that even mean? Let's not be coy, Lady Steelwind. If you must know, Your Majesty, how Steelwind and I came to an arrangement. The fair lady is so keen on wasting her talents on civil work. Given that, I might as well utilize her to my benefit.
Do not speak to her like that.
Oh, I meant no disrespect. But rest assured, this is only temporary.
I see. So you have an arrangement with Lucio Steelwind.
Oh, I said too much.
It seems that Astor's collecting his own information.
Well, hello there, Madame. A wizard arrives only precisely when she means to.
A witch.
No.
Warlock and witch are the counterparts. Why is he sad and angry?
He's sad because of the state of the world, and he's angry because even though they don't have a close relationship, you know, he still wants to go to bat for his betrothed. Witch and wizard are also counterparts. I see.
Von Sanctus sounds like Final Fantasy Tactics as Zargoth.
And I have to play that again. I don't think I even have the means to.
By the way, Lord Von Sanctus, have any of your attendants gone missing lately?
That's an oddly specific question. But no, all of my attendants are accounted for. You don't see any dissonant thoughts from the eye, but he could be unconsciously shielding himself from it. Now I must ask, why would you ask such a question?
You see, I actually found a discarded trinket while walking around the city. It had the crest of House Von Sanctus on it. I was worried that something unsavory might have happened to one of your people.
Huh, I see. And I suppose you must be on edge after what happened to your ship. However, items with the Von Sanctus crest are quite common nowadays.
Really?
The item that you found must have been a product produced by Von Sanctus Industries. An item produced by Von Sanctus Industries.
So, Von Sanctus crest is on some of the items produced by your company.
Not just some of the items. The Von Sanctus crest is engraved on every product created by Von Sanctus Industries, including constructs.
Wizards are typically good aligned, warlocks are not. And witches can be either or.
As a result, people have come to associate the quality of all products with the quality of House von Sanctus. Or at least, they did until hacks like Dracogen came out of the woodwork. So, in other words, it's just branding. What type of products does Von Sanctus Industries produce? We used to produce magical accessories for mages, but now we produce all manner of products. As the head of commerce in our kingdom, we have diversified our holdings. Oh. Yeah. That means the metal shard can come from anything. Yep, the shard could potentially come from a product produced by Von Sanctus Industries. Seems like this line of questioning led to a dead end. Damn it! Is it really impossible to identify where that shard came from? Do you sell your products to the Dracogen Trading Company? Yes, of course I do. Despite my misgivings with Dracogen, it would be foolish of me if I didn't do business with them. That means that there are Von Sanctus products in the Arcane refinery. You're called Von Sanctus Industries, after all. That's true. The metal shard could have been for some sort of industrial tool. Just what are you implying, Lady Steelwind? Oh dear, what is she implying? A twinge of nervousness through the eye. Does he know something? Why would he get so defensive over a question like that? Was there a Von Sanctus product in the refinery on the night of the murder? Oh! Oh dear! She misspoke and said murder instead of accident. That is evoking a reaction. Answer the question, Vaughn. Celeste attempts to loudly slam the tip of her cane on the ground, only to realize that her cane isn't actually real. She loses her balance and tips over a nearby vase. The vase shatters on the ground, creating quite a mess of broken shards and water. So, Lady Steelwind, are you okay? Celeste immediately regains her balance and tries to act as if nothing happened. I'm not paying for that. Lord Von Sanctus completely loses his composure and reels at the sight of the broken vase. Construct, I require your assistance! Acknowledged. In response to Von Sanctus' call, an arcane construct walks out from a nearby closet. Construct, clean up this mess at once! He seems very disturbed by the mess. Is he some sort of clean freak? Acknowledged. The construct begins quickly picking up the shards of the broken vase. You own an arcane construct? I do. Von Sanctus Industries is the inventor of arcane constructs after all. Right. You recall Celeste mentioning that earlier. Would you like one, Your Highness? My apologies, I'm not very interested in you doing artificery. Sorcerers tend to be magics who use ambient magic to fuel their spells. Oh yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics did get War of the Lions, didn't they? And now we've got the Evil East Chronicles. Wonder what that's about. Knowing Square Enix and knowing these stuffy game publishers, the Advanced series is probably some sort of red-headed stepchild. Suit yourself. In any case, I am afraid Lady Steelwind must be taking her leave now. What? Remember, you said that you could only accompany for 1 hour. It's close to being 1 hour. Right, Lady Steelwind? What are you... Oh, right, 1 hour. That would definitely not be good for us to be here for more than 1 hour. Oh. Does this illusion only last for an hour? In the meantime, may I discuss some personal matters with you, Lord Von Sanctus? Of course. I'm at your disposal, Your Majesty. You raise an eyebrow at the prince. It appears that he didn't come here just to help you.
But you suppose that you've gotten all the information you need out of Von Sanctus. It's time to move on to the next lead. Ugh, that was embarrassing. Yeah, that was a bit too close for comfort. Well, at least no one saw through our disguises. Ah, are you an attendant here? Please notify Lord Von Sanctus that The real area Steelwind walks through the door in front of the manor just as you're about to exit. Oh no, which one do I shoot? She immediately stops in her tracks upon meeting her doppelganger.
Aburio!
With one spell, Steelwind dispels the illusion over you and Celeste. Upon seeing who you really are, she lets out an irritated sigh. Is impersonating the Steelwind some kind of hobby for you, Ms. McCoy? She looks really angry this time. No! There was a really good reason for us doing this. Let me guess. You want to investigate Von Sanctus without him knowing who you really were? No. Lying about your name is one matter, but impersonating a noble using magic is a serious crime. Tyrion? Help, please! Are you seriously going to have to defend her in court again? You're clearly trying to think of a way to defuse this situation. Sorry for the wait, you two. I had to discuss... Lady Steelwind? Right. According to Aster, Steelwind despises him. Knowing that he was part of this will just make things worse. Oh? Were you onto something there? James, were you onto something? She's happy and she's worried. You know what that means? She's got them butterflies. Your Majesty. Eh? What? Oh, I see you've dispelled their disguises. You knew about this? Aster steps between you and Steelwind. It seems he's trying to calm her down. For better or worse, her attention is firmly focused on him. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you. No, that's not why Oh, why? He's really close. Oh my goodness. Well, this was a turn I was not expecting. A very welcome turn. They pulled this ruse under my orders. Could you please look the other way? Just this once? Okay. Thank you, Lady Steelwind. I won't forget this. What? Okay. Just when I thought I was settling in and I knew what to expect and when, they're throwing us this curveball. They just threw a monkey wrench into the whole thing and now I'm awake. I'm awake again. You've done it. You managed to really subvert my expectations. Well done. I need to go. Well, that was certainly something. I'm sorry you two had to see that. What? It's as I said before. She absolutely detests me. You saw it, didn't you? She could barely look me in the eye. Oh my god. In any case, we're starting to run out of time. We should head back to the refinery. We still don't know where the metal shard came from. someone dumb it down. Aster is completely oblivious. And I don't know if Arya just thinks that he's handsome, or she actually likes his personality, or both. But clearly, the way she acts towards him, he is completely misconstruing as hatred. And this just made their dynamic so much more fun. She's never gonna live this down. From what Von Sanctus told us, I don't think we can find out exactly where it came from. If each of Von Sanctus's products has that crest, could be any number of things. But hopefully, Draco Gen can help us narrow that list down. If it did come from some kind of industrial tool, he might be able to check if any of the refinery's tools are missing. You just hope he can provide you with some kind of lead. Yes, she has a crush on him. And he is completely clueless about it. But you know, Arya is a very prideful person. She doesn't want to be, oh, wait. Yeah, she doesn't want to be seen as some kind of love-starved floozy. No, wait. Love-starved twit. There you go. I got my Final Fantasy VI references mixed up. Interestingly enough, in Final Fantasy VI, the character Celeste, she said when she was questioned about having a crush on one of the other characters, she says, "I'm not some kind of love-starved twit." And then later on, when it's proposed that she's singing in an opera house, she says, "I'm not some kind of opera floozy." So I mixed up those two references. So I'm not using my terminology carelessly. They're both references. Hello again, Mr. Cuthbert. I hope you have good news. Well, actually... You're still uncertain about the identity of the second victim, but the metal shard should be our lead. I see. I have no idea. You could try doing a Google search in a private window, see if that can reveal anything. I don't know what the exact definition of it is. With that said, do you have any tools that you've purchased from Von Sanctus Industries? I do. He personally sold me quite a few when I first arrived in the city. I even purchased a security system for the refinery building from him. Really? Did you purchase anything else from him? Let's see here. A young woman who has many casual partners, who dresses and behaves in a provocative way. That makes sense. If Celeste didn't have a high opinion of opera singers, then she would use that word. Well, he also tried to sell me some of those arcane constructs. He told me I could be the first person in Oranax to own such an innovative technology. But I turned him down. Really? But they seem so useful. I don't feel comfortable trusting machines to handle the work here. Those constructs require very specific instructions, and they lack common sense. That's true. You saw how unreliable they could be during the Nightgrave case. He
heavily emphasized how exclusive this deal would be for me. Looking back on it, he was probably trying to make me a dependent on his services.
Yeah, I guess you made the right choice by refusing his offer. Lloyd Von Sanctus personally sold several industry tools to Dracogen on behalf of Von Sanctus Industries. These tools were present in the refinery. Von Sanctus attempted to sell Dracogen a few arcane constructs. They was going to be exclusive. He did not trust them, so he didn't. Anyways, have any of the tools from Von Sanctus Industries been reported missing? Hold on a second here. Nah, not really. Now that I think about it, Dracogen kind of has a passing resemblance to Damon Gant. Kind of, if you squint. Not really. I also wondered if he kind of looked like Dr. Tenma from Astro Boy, but no. That one is a bit of a stretch. It's probably the 90s anime nose that he's rocking, but other than that, not really.
The Inquisition actually asked me the same question, so I took some time today to check my inventory.
Why would the Inquisition ask him for that? Did Steelwind come to the same conclusion that you did?
There was one tool that was accounted for.
Really? What kind of tool was it?
A rod of mending. It's a large tool that we use to repair damage on the machines.
A tool for repairs? How large was it?
Quite large, actually. It's called a rod, but it's more of a large cylindrical tool. It requires 2 people to properly carry and use it.
Interesting. Wait, a repair tool like that would have transmutation magic, right?
Huh!
That's right. What if the Rod of Mending was the thing that weakened the guardrail?
Is that possible, Dracogen? I suppose that is possible. Now that you mention it, I recall there being a way to reverse its effects.
You never even considered the transmutation traces were left by an artificery tool. That does lift some suspicion off of Aster.
Pardon me.
Would you say that the Rod of Mending is about the same size as a person? Someone could have sabotaged the rail with the rod, and they might have thrown it into the vat to cover their tracks. But it didn't completely dissolve. That would mean that they threw the rod in close to when Justin fell off the walkway. It can't be a coincidence that these two events happened so close to each other. And we still have no idea who actually broke the guardrail. We didn't find a second body in the vat. We have no evidence that proves a second victim even exists.
I feel as if we have more questions than answers at the moment.
We've learned a few new facts about the case, though. And the Inquisition has verified the traces of transmutation on the guardrail. The burden of proof is still on the prosecution to prove that Dracogen is at fault. Even if Steelwind has a proper examination for that, I can counter her with the facts we've learned thus far.
I just hope the trial goes as smoothly as you're describing.
It rarely ever does, but knowing that would just needlessly stress him out.
Regardless, I appreciate the work you've done thus far. I'll leave things in your very capable hands.
You just hope that you don't encounter any more curveballs tomorrow. Oh boy. Tyrion, you are in a legal sim, the visual novel. Curveballs are... There are more curveballs than breaths in the air. Anyway. But maybe just checking in a couple things. Not surprised no one pointed out the typing ASMR earlier. Oh well. Court has now resumed for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. Let us review the proceedings from 2 days ago. Wow, we're not even 2 hours in and we're already in court sequence number 2. That first one was really short. It was like, what, half an hour? At first, the facts of the case seemed very straightforward. The victim, Justin Way, put his weight on a poorly maintained guardrail on the refinery grounds. Said guardrail broke, causing Justin Way to fall to his death. However, the defense presented a shocking piece of evidence in the previous proceedings. Traces of transmutation magic were found on that same broken guardrail. This new evidence implies that sabotage, if not outright foul play, played a part in the death of the victim. This evidence is also accompanied by conflicting testimonies from witnesses. All these evidence have thrown quite some doubt on the validity of the prosecution's case. Yes. However, the prosecution maintains that the Dracogen Trading Company is at fault for Justin Way's death. Even though someone may have sabotaged the guardrails. The prosecution acknowledges that sabotage may have occurred at the scene of the accident. However, we also believe that there are several factors in the case that the court is overlooking. As we all know, several witnesses were present at the refinery at the time of the accident. The harbor master was showing a patron around the refinery. Mosarika Tudor was making a food delivery and entered the building. And of course, the victim, Justin Way, was obviously present as well. There's the cane slam that nearly blew our cover. Each and every one of those people had no business being in the refinery that night. In the case of the harbor master and his patron, it would be hardly reasonable for anyone to stop them. You doubt anyone would stand in the way of the crown prince. That may be, but Justin Way worked in the freight division and should not have been at the scene. I've already verified this with my client. The victim was not authorized to be in the refinery building. And who stopped Justin Way from entering the area unauthorized? Isn't it the defendant's duty to prevent such individuals from entering the building? My client can't be held responsible for Justin's breach of set protocols, and you surely can't hold my client responsible for someone sabotaging the guardrail. This so-called sabotage is only theoretical until a proper culprit is found. I might be compelled to agree with you, Miss Steelwind. After all, there's no hard evidence that proves the traces of transmutation were left by a specific spell. What kind of mental gymnastics is that? Every part of the guardrail that had traces on it was rusted. Ugh. They're bending the context of what happened to suit their purposes. Hard evidence means everything here, and the rod of mending has been reduced to shards in the vat. Without the complete rod, you can't prove that someone used it to sabotage the guardrail. Regardless, it is not the responsibility of the Dracogen Trading Company to ensure that its employees do not wander into restricted areas. Blaming a potential saboteur puts the cart before the horse. It doesn't just stop with Justin Way either. Why was Mosarika Tudor able to enter the building? She doesn't even work for the refinery, yet she was able to waltz into the building without any trouble. Actually, Steelwind does have a point about Rika. Shouldn't something have stopped her from entering that area? You doubt that Dracogen would have shown that kind of negligence. If that's true, I believe that we should hear from Ms. Tudor directly. Oh, here she goes again. Let's hear how easily she gained access to the refinery on the day of the accident. We've already anticipated that. Mozarika Tudor is prepared and ready to testify.
Very well then. Bailiff, please escort Miss Tudor to the stand.
Ms. Tudor, are you aware of why you've been called here today? Yeah. I have heard everything from the gallery. Then you'll have no problem answering the following question. Did you encounter resistance when you entered the refinery the night of the accident? Witness, may I remind you that you are under oath to tell the court everything that you know. Failure to do so is a crime. No. No one tried to stop me. Sorry, Tyrion. You have nothing to apologize for, witness. The only one at fault is the Dracogen Trading Company and their negligence. Hey, that's... For the record, please testify in detail about how you entered the refinery that day, Ms. Tudor. Okay. That day, I was looking for Justin in the freight area, but I couldn't find him. I decided to look for him in the refinery's main building. There was some kind of magical door leading into it, but it was unlocked. Nothing really stopped me from entering the refinery building. As the court can clearly see, there were no safeguards preventing the witness from entering that restricted area. The witness clearly stated that there was a magical door leading into the building. This was obviously some sort of a security door powered by artificery, which was still unlocked and effectively useless. Damn it. Must be a way to prove that the unlocked door wasn't Dracogen's fault. Huh. So even though we're kind of murder mystery flavored, we're still in the realm of a civil dispute, which is interesting. We're still not in full murder mystery here, which is kind of encouraging, kind of different. I applaud them for managing to keep that intact for as long as they have.
Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination.
We're proving Justin was the master of unlocking. Exactly. So it's not that there was no security there. It's that the security was broken into before Rika got there. There was some kind of magical door leading into it, but it was unlocked. You mean that the door is powered by artificery? You have a door like that in your restaurant too. But this one looked a lot more complex. Why would you or Dracogen need magical doors anyway? Locks the shop when she closes it for the day. Door to the refinery building was for the same thing. But that means there was a mechanism to keep out unauthorized personnel, which was effectively useless. The witness entered the refinery with zero resistance. The Inquisition has already logged the specs for the door. Ha! The only entrance to the refinery building is a door with an artificery lock. Magical keys can be used to unlock the door for 5 seconds. After these 5 seconds, the lock automatically closes the door and engages the lock. The lock can only be disabled by a Stefanik Dracogen. The door could be physically prevented from closing. This would trigger an alarm within the refinery's security system. Alright. Did you use a key to unlock the door, Ms. Tudor? No, I didn't. As you can see from this report, Stefanik Dracogen was the only person capable of disabling the lock. I guess Mr. Dracogen kept the door unlocked during work hours. This means it's entirely Dracogen's fault that the victim gained access to the building in the first place. Wait, that's not what I meant to... But that is what you implied, unless you can prove that another person disabled that door. You can't refute that statement yet. You might be able to work with this new information. Regardless, please add the last statement to your testimony, witness. Alright. Mr. Draco Gen must have disabled the lock. No one else could have disabled it. That's quite a leap in logic. Especially the doors state that a lock can only be disabled by Stefano Dracogen. No other reason why it would be disabled. But if a Dracogen really do something like that, perhaps someone did something to bypass that. Let's see here. Who could have opened up the gate? So, my runestone means nothing. So let's see. No information here. No information here. Nothing here. Oh, wait. Did Justin follow in Aster? Costa Rica briefly interacted with Justin Way before the accident. Justin supposedly told her that he was on his way to a scheduled meeting with Stefanik Dracogen, but Dracogen never mentioned this meeting. So it could be that that they had a meeting, and Dracogen disabled the door to let Justin in. No. Nope. The connection is not quite there yet. No, we just need to know who did it, not how. On the night of the accident, did I saw him fall? Try to get the attention. Okay. The Eye Taker. Justin Way, let I take perhaps one of the citizens or Ornax to tell you more about this person. Surely I'm not supposed to mention the Eye Taker. Disable mundane and magical locks. He's planning to break into the refined building. Oh, is this it? We're supposed to bring up the fact that he was going to do a robbery. Objection! Yep, there it is. Alright. Once again, I left in logic. The connection was not as clear-cut there. The meeting with Dracogen had several degrees of separation, but it wasn't exactly a one-to-one comparison. But Justin being in possession of lock-picking tools, there you go. There's a direct comparison. I need to try going straight for the jugulars instead of going with these wild mass guesses. Ms. Steelman, you claim that my client expressed negligence by disabling the door. This is the reason why the security door was unlocked, and why the current witness was able to enter the building. That's correct. Your client's negligence allowed unauthorized persons like Justin Way to gain access to the building. And regardless of any sabotage, Justin Way died because he was in said unauthorized area. And what if I told you that another person may have disabled the door? Not because of laziness, but for more nefarious purposes. What are you talking about? If you recall, the witness entered the refinery building and spotted Justin Way afterward. This means that Justin Way entered the building before her. So that begs the question, how did Justin Way enter the building? The answer is obvious. He entered the same way the witness did, through the unlocked door. Not quite, Miss Steelwind. Since this trial began, we still haven't answered why Justin Way entered the refinery building in the first place. He entered the refinery building with the intent of robbing my clan's personal safe. I already told you, Tyrion! He would never do something like that. You feel a little guilty about insulting a dead man's name like this, but it's the only possibility that makes sense. I'm sorry, Rika, but there are things about Justin that even you don't know about. The truth is that he was deeply in debt to a crime lord named the Eye Taker, and he was extremely desperate to wipe that debt as soon as he could. Crime lord? I won't ask how you came across this information, Mr. Cuthbert, but what does this have to do with the disabled magical lock? Miss Steelwind, Justin owned a set of tools that he used for picking mundane and magical locks. The safe that he was planning to rob was located in my clan's office within the refinery building. I have witnesses who saw Justin retrieve those tools shortly before the night of the accident. He clearly had a plan to disable any locks that stood between him and that safe. This means that it's entirely possible that Justin disabled the locked refinery door illegally. We're not actually going to bring them in, are we? Yeah, I'm kind of bluffing right now. You basically assaulted one of them. We both assaulted him, Tyrion. She says that as if it absolves her of any guilt. Hold on a minute. You can't just accuse him like that when he can't defend himself. I'm sorry, Rika, but his delinquent friends told me about his plan. He didn't want to rob Dracogen, but he needed the gold to wipe away his debt. If Justin wasn't the one that disabled the lock, that would only leave Dracogen. But there has to be an explanation where neither of them is guilty. She definitely believes in Justin, but a scenario where both Justin and Dracogen are innocent is too optimistic, if not impossible. But it's not as if you're entirely certain of what happened that day either. Alright, Rika. You knew Justin better than I did. Let's assume that you're correct. Neither Justin nor Dracogen disabled the locks that day. How did either of you enter the refinery then? Well, someone must have disabled it before then. Wait, let me think through this. A testimony? This is a testimony? Oh, the Allegro kicked in. Plenty of people could have disabled the locks. Maybe one of the employees got lazy and forcibly broke it. There was also that nobleman who was with Mr. Morrison. He's a mage and he could have used magic to do it. Could have also been one of the maintenance constructs. I saw one working on the machines. Maybe one of them broke the lock. A maintenance construct, you say? Like one of the ones that Dracogen denied having been, having bought from Von Sanctus? I can barely even begin to point out all the issues with your theories, Ms. Tudor. If you recall, the entrance lock can only be disabled by Stephanic Dracogen. Even Mr. Cuthbert's theory makes more sense than your list of suspects. Damn! You know that someone messes up when the prosecutor goes to bat for the main character. She's right. It doesn't matter how many suspects she presents. None of them have the credentials to disable the lock. So why do you feel like there's something else wrong with her testimony? The defense would like to exercise their right to cross-examine the witness. What a waste of time. All the court agrees with Ms. Steelman. We also recognize Mr. Cuthbert's right to cross-examination. However,
I will not allow the defense to waste the court's time. If nothing substantial is gained from your cross-examination, I will not hesitate to end it early.
Understood, Your Honor. Alright. Plenty of people. One of them an employee. Nobleman. Alright. I have not safety saved in a while, so let's go ahead and do that. Maintenance construct? You know, those magically animated suits of armor. Oh, she must have seen an arcane construct when she was exploring the refinery. Arcane constructs only perform the actions they're ordered to do, and a construct of the arcane refinery would only take orders from their administrator, Stephanic Dracogen. Unless you want to imply that Dracogen ordered the construct to break the lock. May I remind the prosecution that constructs are prone to error and misinterpretation of their orders. Perhaps this construct accidentally broke the lock while carrying out its usual orders. The Inquisition found no evidence of physical tampering on the lock, and even if they had, the security system would have been alerted the moment this happened. Well, I guess you have a lot of contradicting statements to work with this time. Yeah, I need to find a contradiction that's not so readily apparent. One that's not apparent? There's another contradiction in her testimony? I'm not sure, but I can't help but feel like she says something that doesn't fit with what we know already. Ignore the list of suspects and focus on the other details. She has heard a lot that day, so something must be off. Monsantos attempted to sell Dracogen a few arcane constructs, a product that is not available to anyone else in the Arnex. However, Dracogen did not trust the construct's ability to perform. Objection! Wait, that can't be right, can it? Rika, you said that you saw a maintenance construct inside the refinery building. Are you sure that it was an arcane construct? Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on them in the Von Sanctus catalogs. But they're not available to the public yet. When you saw this arcane construct, what was it doing? I'm not exactly sure, but it looked like it was doing maintenance on the machines. Maintenance on the machines? But it shouldn't have been there in the first place. What was it doing there? More importantly, who sent it there? Where are you going with this, Mr. Cuthbert? As I've said before, an arcane construct owned by the defendant wouldn't have disabled the lock. I agree. A construct owned by my client wouldn't have done that. But arcane constructs are extremely rare and not available to the general public yet. Furthermore, they're only produced and sold by Von Sanctus Industries. Lloyd Von Sanctus personally sold several products to the Dracogen Trading Company. However, when offered the opportunity to purchase his arcane constructs, my client turned him down. What? My client disliked the construct's flawed intelligence. He didn't want them working in the refinery. He turned down Lord Von Sanctus's offer in favor of utilizing human labor. Wait, then why did I see a construct there? Exactly. If my client did not own any constructs, why did the witness see one there? Or to phrase this question differently, who sent that construct there? Who? Why would anyone send an arcane construct into the refinery? First, let's consider the rarity of arcane constructs. They are highly experimental and not available to the public yet. With all these elements in mind, only one person in the city of Arnex could have done this. Wait, you can't possibly mean... I do, Miss Steelwind. Who sent the arcane construct? Few individuals had access to an arcane construct, and even fewer had the ability to disable the locked door without alerting the security system. It was me all along! No. Boom! Only one individual could have done everything that I described. Lloyd Von Sanctus, the noble lord of Arnax. You can't be serious. Are you accusing Lord Von Sanctus of illegally sending a construct into the Arcane refinery? What possible reason would he have to do that? When Rika saw the construct, she said that it was working on the machines. That construct was sent by Lord Von Sanctus. It didn't actually work for Dracogen. Wait, could that mean... Rika, when you saw the construct in the refinery, was it carrying anything? Yeah, actually. It was carrying a large cylindrical machine, and it looked pretty heavy. Like it would normally need to be held by 2 people? Yeah, how did you know? It all makes sense now. Von Sanctus has been far too aggressive in pushing these charges. It wasn't because he was desperate to get rid of Dracogen. It was because he needed to cover up what actually happened.
Mr. Cuthbert, where are you going with this?
You see, Your Honor, the tool that the witness saw this construct carrying wasn't just any tool. It was a rod of mending, an artificery tool that channels transmutation magic. Transmutation magic. As in, magic that could be used to weaken and sabotage parts of the refinery.
No. Are you seriously accusing?
Your Honor, Lloyd Von Sanctus sent a construct into the Arcane refinery to sabotage it. In other words, Lloyd Von Sanctus is responsible for that guardrail breaking.
I think that's enough out of you, you upstart commoner.
Oh boy, here we go. The judge really needs to stop these guys from just barging onto the stand. To be fair, who's gonna stop a noble from a pillar family?
I've had enough of these blatant accusations. If you want to sling mud at my name, you will do it at me directly.
Lord Von Sanctus, I would highly advise against doing this.
Please, do you think I am like that fool Pierce? The defense theory is laughable, and I have several pieces of evidence that can easily prove my innocence. At least I hope it will.
He has a good poker face. The eye is telling you that he's a little desperate.
Very well. If the defense wishes to accuse you, I see no harm in allowing you to defend yourself. The court would very much like to hear your testimony on the matter.
It is possible to order a construct to complete a complex list of tasks, but doing so is ill-advised. I'm sure you observed this with the Nightgrave trial. Constructs are extremely prone to error when completing a long list of tasks. According to the defense, the saboteur stole a rod of mending and used it to sabotage very specific sections of the refinery. I would never trust a construct to discreetly complete such an intricate set of tasks unsupervised. And before you asked, I was miles away from the refinery at the time of the accident, and I have several associates who can confirm this alibi. Therefore, I had no way of observing this construct from afar, nor did I have any way to communicate with it.
Nor did you have any way to communicate with it?
Let me see here.
Nor do you have any way to communicate with it, do you say?
That actually makes a lot of sense. The Nightgrave trial revealed the risks of ordering a construct to commit a crime. But nevertheless, Rika saw a construct at a refinery that day. That's indisputable. He definitely gave the construct a complex list of tasks to sabotage the refinery. And that raises one question. How did he account for the construct's error-prone logic? Yeah, no way to communicate with it, did you? What if the construct wasn't actually active? You could have had one of your servants don the construct as a disguise. It's extremely dangerous to wear the construct like a suit of armor. It almost always ends in severe injury and death in the worst case. Have you heard of spring locks, Mr. Cuthbert? Furthermore, this supposed construct would have needed to carry and use a rod of mending. I have many capable servants, but none of them have superhuman strength. Right. Your theory only makes sense that the construct was the one carrying the rod. This argument makes a lot of sense. You wouldn't trust a construct to sabotage a refinery alone, especially if there was such a risk getting caught. Regardless of what he says, Rika did see a construct there. You doubt he'd take a risk like that. Was there no way to ensure the construct completed its task successfully? He's a noble from a pillar family. He's probably an accomplished mage. Could he have used that somehow? Oh, yes, he could have. Oh, no. Incorrect. That was a misclick. No way to communicate, huh? Von Sanctus, you testified that there was no way for you to observe and communicate with the construct. Am I correct? Yes, I was at that meeting with Steelwind for that entire day. Anyone there could have testified to that fact. I'm not disputing your so-called alibi, but it's not as airtight as you might think. What are you talking about? I was there at that meeting, Mr. Cuthbert. Lord Von Sanctus may have been absent in mind, but he was there physically. I don't like being called absent of mind. Oh. Absent in mind, so his attention wasn't focused on the meeting, which means that his attention was somewhere else. And I suppose you're correct, Miss Steelwind, but I have one question for you, Lord Von Sanctus. And what would that be? Are you able to cast the send message spell? Exclamation mark! What? Miss Steelwind, your client may have been physically at the meeting, but his attention was somewhere else, wasn't it? He could have used a combination of spells to view the construct during the meeting, and he could have used the send message spell to communicate with it over a large distance. If my claim is truly false, your client should have no trouble disproving it with his spell compendium. Well, how dare you? Why, I oughta... Von Sanctus. You appear to be hesitating, Von Sanctus. Can I assume that you do know how to cast send message? If so, that would punch a gigantic hole in your alibi. Steelwind! You were there, weren't you? My attention was fully there. I needed a cover for me. The idea that I was communicating with a construct is absurd. I'm afraid that I can't say that, Lord Von Sanctus. Steelwind! I did find it odd. Your attention appeared to be elsewhere, despite the gravity of our discussion. And I seem to recall you speaking under your breath the entire time. I'd always just assumed that you were muttering obscenities. But Mr. Cuthbert's explanation does seem plausible. What are you saying? Aren't you obligated to defend me? I am obligated to represent you to the best of my ability. I am not obligated to forge your alibi for you. You... Okay, there you go. I popped my why I oughta too early. Lord Von Sanctus, I am afraid the court needs an answer. Are you able to cast the send messages spell? Fine. I admit it, okay? I am able to cast send messages. that still doesn't prove anything. It doesn't. It does prove something, but I don't care. His voice betrays a hint of desperation. You have him right where you want him. Now's our opportunity to deal the final blow. Save to save. So why do you feel so uneasy? Maybe the fact that this is only court segment 2 out of what could possibly be 3? There are still 2 details that don't sit well with you. You saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail of the walkway. Rika saw Justin fall over the guardrail, even though Von Sanctus sabotaged it. The second person that fell into the vat is still unaccounted for. Luckily, you didn't need to prove that the second person existed, but not having an explanation for Astor and Morrison's testimony still irks you. The why odd always makes you laugh. I'm glad. Making you laugh is one of the reasons why I'm here. Steelwind did warn Von Sanctus not to do this. He's playing himself. Congratulations. However, even if it's not a clean ending, there's only one way forward, and that's revealing Von Sanctus for the petty saboteur that he is. Oh? It's argument time, baby! What did I say there? Why do you hesitate so long to answer my question, Von Sanctus? You know very well why I hesitated. Why would I willingly give you evidence? You clearly intend to use it against me. Regardless, this entirely disproves your alibi. You could have communicated with your construct at that meeting. By that logic, I could be the mastermind behind every crime that occurs in Oranax. Well, that's a hell of a statement to send out there. I may have had the means to commit the crime, but there are plenty of other individuals that could have sent an arcane construct. Someone else could have sent that construct. Let's see. A product that is not available to anyone else in Oranax. Von Sanctus, you of all people, you should know that the arcane constructs are not available to the public. When you attempted to sell these constructs to Dracogen, you promised him that he would be the first merchant in Oranax that would own one. Since he refused your offer, that would leave you as the only owner of an arcane construct in Oranax. Nuts! Oh dear. This is making me feel quite purple. Well, I admit I may not have been that truthful when I made my sales pitch. So you're saying that you lied to my client? No, please! Every good businessman knows how to embellish the truth when making a sale. I have sold constructs to other individuals. The truth is, I've sold these constructs to plenty of other individuals in Oranax. If only, it'd be too dangerous to sell it to anyone else. Evidence, contradicts thoughts seen through the eye. Thoughts seen through the eye, yeah. If only it'd be it'd be too dangerous? Frankly, Von Sanctus, I find that hard to believe. After the Nightgrave trial, you must have been a lot more fearful about who you sold your constructs to. You only tried to sell your constructs to Dracogen so that you could control him. You wouldn't have done that otherwise. Is that so? Why don't you prove it? No, Von Sanctus. Why don't you prove your statement? Show us any invoice that proves you made a sale to someone in Oranax. Exclamation mark! He's not even angry anymore. He's now bluffing. Well, who says that the saboteur lived in Oranax when they made the sale? Are you serious? Oranax is a trading hub. Plenty of people come and go from the city. A saboteur could be someone who secretly entered Ornax. Any one of my customers could have secretly entered this city to carry out. Are you sure about that? A blockade has been created around the city. This blockade is preventing anyone from leaving or entering. The King's Guard have taken careful note of everyone that is currently contained within the blockade. Von Sanctus, you might have been right under any other circumstance, but the King's Guard locked down the city on the day that the accident occurred. No one except for a select few individuals could have left or entered the city, and due to the gravity of the situation, the King's Guard created profiles of everyone within the city. Why don't we cross-reference the records taken by the King's Guard with the list of individuals who you've sold constructs to?
Oh no, oh no, oh no!
But I suppose from your reaction, that list would come up empty. So, why don't you admit to your crimes, Von Sanctus? Or do I have to drag the evidence into court myself?
Ah!
Wait, drag the evidence into court? No, of course, how can I forget? What? Why don't you go ahead and do that, Mr. Cuthbert? Bring in your so-called evidence. I don't know where this confidence is coming from, but we can easily detect the traces of divination and transmutation on the constructs you own. Now, assuming that construct still exists, that is. Wait, that's right. If he used a construct to commit a crime like this, he would have definitely disposed of it by now. Even within the blockade, Ornax is a gigantic city. With his resources, he could have hidden it anywhere in the city. It would be a needle hidden within a town of haystacks. We still have the testimony of Mosarika Tudor, and I'm sure many other people saw that construct walking around the refinery. The common folk can hardly be trusted to recognize complex artificery. Without the actual construct, all you have are several unreliable witnesses. Tell me, Lady Steelman, can I be convicted of such a serious charge with such evidence? No, I suppose not. Damn it. Is he seriously gonna get away with this? No. You still have one card up your sleeve. If you could just find out where he disposed of the evidence, you might be able to direct the Inquisition there. Come on. Focus on his thoughts, Tyrion. Activate the Empowered Eye. Weren't you told explicitly not to do that? Your undignified glaring will do you no favors. What? Why isn't it working? The Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion, but that's twice now that you've used the Empowered Eye to get out of a corner. If you keep relying on that one trick, you'll never grow as an attorney. One day, you'll find a witness that the Empowered Eye won't work on. Miss Tamora was right. You've been relying on the Empowered Eye too much. From your silence, I assume that you have no way to rebut my claim. And I suppose it makes a checkmate, you upstart commoner. Honestly, I can't believe you resort to accusing me of manslaughter. What a crass and underhanded tactic. But I suppose I wouldn't expect anything less from a charlatan like you. Damn it. What the hell are you doing? What? That look on your face. Are you seriously giving up? I've seen you get out of plenty of situations like this. So why are you giving up this time? I'm sorry, Celeste, but I can't use my usual strategies. There's no way to find the evidence that we need. Seriously? There's always a way, Tyrion. If your usual strategies aren't working, then you just need to do something different. She's right. You don't need to see directly into his mind to utilize your skills as an attorney. You may not be able to rely on the Eye of Horus this time, but you've always been able to rely on a deductive reasoning. Well, it seems you have no further questions for me. and you clearly don't have a shred of physical evidence to support your claims. I think I'll be taking my leave. I'm not quite done with you yet, Von Sanctus. Honestly, your desperation is almost pitiful. You should really learn to lose with dignity, Mr. Cuthbert. He's the last person you want to hear that from. Calm your mind and focus. You may not be able to read Von Sanctus's mind in a literal sense, but you can still extrapolate his plan and his actions. Let's explore my theory a little more and see for ourselves if there is no physical evidence. If you wanted to use a construct, you would have needed to maintain constant communication. So to prove that this communication occurred, you would need something that connects you to it. Which piece of evidence would connect the murder to Von Sanctus? Sent message can normally only target a person, but arcane constructs probably don't count as people for the purpose of that spell. What piece of evidence would that leave behind? Let's see. The object, that. You can see that I'm trying to scroll through, but the only word is that. That. The object that Lord Von Sanctus, the guard's rail, the vat, the rod of mending, the object attuned, broke, stole, fell into, attuned to. An arcane construct isn't a person, so you must have used an object attuned to your magic to communicate with it. Miss Steelman, if we were able to find that object, would that tie your client to the sabotage? Hypothetically, yes. The Inquisition has divination magic, and they can use it to detect if an object is attuned to a specific mage. Good luck finding such evidence. If I did perform these acts, the remains could be anywhere in Ornax. I'm not so sure about that, Von Sanctus. Let's look at things from your perspective. Why would you do the things that you did that day? Knowing that will point us to where you ultimately hid the construct. Your intention was to sabotage the refinery without anyone finding out what you did. So how would you dispose of the construct and the attuned item? How could Von Sanctus easily destroy the evidence? He would need to hide and or destroy it so no one will be able to find it. Wait, destroy? The evidence was stolen, taken back, thrown, hidden, was thrown into the vat, owned by Dracogen. Oh wait, Von Sanctus needed a surefire way to dispose of the evidence? I needed to destroy it or hide it somewhere that no one would find it. Anything you could have done to destroy or hide the evidence? Yeah? Or was it the rod of mending? No, the evidence was hidden, was thrown into the vat from the refinery to the manor. Well, the thing is that the evidence has to be those pieces of metal that were found in the vat, right? Oh, a volatile liquid. Duh. Well, come on! It was owned by Dracogen! Come on! You used the vat of volatile liquid! I didn't look at all the words. Usually I scroll through all the words, but I thought owned by Dracogen, and I'm like, hey. Bada bing, there it is. It was the vat of volatile liquid owned by Dracogen. Come on. You got the last word wrong. Exactly. It was technically correct, but technically correct is not going to cut it. You used the vat of volatile liquid. Oh no. You suppose that makes sense. You found the remnants of the rod of mending in there too. But wouldn't that mean that the object is fully dissolved? Exactly! there'd be no physical evidence for you to find. That's not necessarily true. You threw the rod of mending into the vat, and that didn't fully dissolve. What? The workers neutralized the liquid immediately after Justin fell into the vat. What? Neutralizing that liquid would have rendered it unsalvageable and useless! Doing that would have cost Dracogen a small fortune! Unlike you, Mon Sanctus, my client values the lives of his workers over his profits. And because of that, the Inquisition was able to find pieces of bone matter and metal within the vat. Wait, the rod didn't fully dissolve. This means that it was thrown into the vat around the same time that Justin fell into it. You wouldn't have thrown the rod into the vat until after you were done with your sabotage. If you wanted to destroy the rod, you would have destroyed all of the evidence that you needed to get rid of. What piece of evidence would Von Sanctus also dispose of? The Arcane Construct. I find it interesting that they would put me right on the answer immediately. You would have also destroyed the Arcane Construct itself. That's ridiculous! Lady Steelwind, why aren't you... I told you before, didn't I? I will defend you to the best of my ability, but I will not fabricate an alibi for you. You must have ordered the construct to throw itself into the vat to hide any traces of your sabotage. Machine resembling a human threw itself into the vat. This means that anyone looking at the walkway would have seen this. That's it! Eureka! The Arcane Construct was the second person that Aster and Morrison saw fall into the vat. That's why we didn't find organic matter from anyone other than Justin in there. The second body that Aster and Morrison saw was actually an Arcane Construct. How are you... Wait. Rika was sure that she saw Justin fall off the walkway. After she notified Aster and Morrison, they saw the construct break the guardrail and fall into the vat. Would that mean that the construct disposed of itself after Justin Way fell off the walkway? Why would you order it to do that? Because it never happened! Your logic is flawed! He's getting stressed out. Maybe you should try using the Empowered Eye. No, you don't need it this time. You're so close to figuring this out, you can feel it. So think, if he was observing the construct using magic, he must have seen Justin fall. And for some reason, he reacted by sabotaging the guardrail. Why did Von Sanctus sabotage the guardrail? Why would he ignore seeing that happen? Unless he did all this because he saw Justin fall. Von Sanctus wanted the sabotage to look like an accident, no? Instead of running away, he ordered the construct to sabotage and break the guardrail. Why would he do something like that? Okay. Oh, Justin's death. Okay. To look like an accident. Durr. Once again, the accident, it was all an accident, but at the, yeah. Once again, I'm on the right track, but, it wasn't the most direct route to the truth. It's because you wanted it to look like an accident, which means that it wasn't actually an accident. Oh, now you're accusing me of intentionally murdering the victim! Why would I ever do that? You said it yourself! My goal was sabotage! Committing murder would have brought unnecessary attention to what I'd done! Those constructs do have a habit of shoving people that are in their way. What if the construct pushed Justin out of the way, causing him to fall over the edge of the guardrail. He's figuring out everything that happened just from a few clues! Hey, I didn't see you there. I was just walked past him. Acknowledged. What? Hey, watch it! Quit shoving me! Hey, whoa! Holy crap! Pull me up! I can't hold on for much longer! You idiot! What are you doing? What? Grab his arm and put him up! Acknowledged. My hand! What the hell are you doing? Your grip is too tight! Stop that! Acknowledged. Ah! Wait, I can still... It may have been unintentional, but either way, you would have been in fault for Justin's death, not my client. If the construct fell in after Justin, your attuned object must be somewhere in the neutralized liquid. No, it's even better than that. Constructs are made from a specific magical alloy, aren't they? I'm sure with a few divination spells, we can identify the metal shards from the construct and your arcane focus. Each and every one of those pieces of evidence points directly at you, Von Sanctus! You petulant little upstart! And that's checkmate, Von Sanctus. Why don't you save us all a little time, Von Sanctus? Admit to what you did. And while you're at it, drop your false allegations against my client. I have nothing to admit to, nor do I have anything to apologize for! Of course not. You're completely blameless, right? Do you think you achieved victory here today? No. Dissidents like you and Dracogen are absolutely deluded. Each and every breath you take only throws Wyvern God further into chaos! You talk about these commoners as if they have even a fraction of the power that you have. Lady Steelwind, you need to see reason! They lack awareness of power they truly have! What? These people have infected you in His Majesty with these idealistic delusions! I implore both of you to see reality for what it is! No, Von Sanctus. The true reality is that people like you become threatened when we challenge your power. You all speak about the rights of the individual! You speak as if each and every one of you wouldn't stab each other on the back the moment they have benefited yourselves! You may hate the nobility. You may curse, scream, and blame us for all of your little problems. But the truth is that you need us. You need us to direct and lead you. You need us to maintain the fragile order that holds your peaceful little lives together. You talk about protecting the common folk from themselves. But the truth is that your actions led to the death of an innocent man. That is the only truth that matters. The defense has no further questions for the witness. He is dismissed. But very well. We never got a portrait for Justin, did we? We did not. He got dissolved so badly that it retroactively destroyed his portrait. We did it again, Tyrion! And we even caught another murderer in the process. Yeah. We couldn't get the case officially dismissed today, but it's pretty much inevitable with the evidence we brought in today. Actually, it probably won't even reach that point. I've advised Lord Von Sanctus to drop the suit entirely. Word has already spread regarding the evidence that you brought forward. At this point, prolonging the trial would just harm his public image even more. That's great. Now you can build a case against him for Justin's death. About that, I'll probably be forced to recuse myself from any charges brought against him. What? Why? It's because you represented him in the suit, isn't it? It'd be considered a conflict of interest to prosecute him yourself, even though you're probably the only prosecutor that would convict him successfully. You're correct. As the head of one of the Pillar families, he has the justice system dancing in the palm of his hand. He will definitely be quietly and swiftly acquitted. I would have never agreed to represent him if I had known about this. I'm truly sorry. Damn it. Yep, and there you have it. With several layers in front of him, as long as, you know, one of the 2 or 3 people actually committed to the truth and justice aren't on the case, it's almost as if Von Sanctus had set this up. So, we might have defended Dracogen, but Von Sanctus is still gonna get away scot-free, basically. Whether the court of public opinion will be so forgiving, we'll see. But as far as the court of actual direct law goes, nah, he's gonna buy his way out of it. You must have planned this all along. Exactly, what I just said. No. Is he seriously gonna get away with this? I wouldn't be so sure about that. Dracogen? He may be acquitted in the legal sense. Wow. I really just called it at every step of the way, didn't I? The court of public opinion is a different thing entirely. What do you mean? You brought forward a myriad of evidence against him, and I'm sure everyone in the gallery saw it too. Von Sanctus's power relies on his public image, and you quite handily tore down that facade. He may walk free, but his power and ideals have taken a great blow. Is that seriously all we can do? His actions and recklessness resulted in the death of Justin Wang. He should be punished within the letter of the law. You're not wrong, Mr. Cuthbert. But sometimes we must take the victories that we can get. She is probably right. There's still one thing that's nagging at me. Oh? Then what's that? Why was your safe unlocked if nothing was stolen? If Justin had gotten in your safe, he would have taken your gold with him. It wouldn't still be there. Considering that nothing is missing, I'd rather leave it at that. Really? Justin was a good man. I'd rather not taint anyone's memory of him, especially Mosarika's. Right, she was pretty upset about your accusations. Nothing was taken, so no harm was done in that regard. I suppose so. But I can't help but wonder what actually happened. Episode end! Woohoo! GG's. Oh, well, look at this. And here I thought that picture of the eye taker was just a filler. Makes no damn sense to me. The kid successfully robbed the guy days ago. No one saw him. No one even suspected him. Then he breaks into the place again. All so he could put back the stolen gold? Does this make any sense to you, Eris? Oh boy. Things are thickening. We're getting thick here. Perhaps he felt remorse for his actions, Father. I don't know what to do with this information, but I'm sure it's going to be very relevant in the next cases. Not everyone can betray the people they love so easily. And if that's true, I feel like there's a sense of tragic beauty to it all. If he'd never tried to do the right thing, he would have never encountered the construct in the first place. He would have paid his debt and he would still have his life.
It's true what they say. No good deed goes unpunished. It's a shame about the gold, though.
I think we've more than made a profit today.
What does that mean?
I, for one, am happy to have claimed a boatload of tithes today.
What does any of that even mean? Tithes? Do I have that right, what a tithe is? Oh, wait. She's not talking about money. She's talking about something else. Either souls or, like, discord or something. Either way... I wonder if we can get out... Man... Can we really get through the first investigation phase of Case 4 in an hour? And I'm still feeling woozy from all the rest that I've needed to take. So you might want to start next stream just nice and fresh with Case 4. Just at the very start of it. And trust me, I still have a lot of housekeeping to take care of over here, so I can use the extra time, or just the, yeah, good idea to call it here then. Yep, just make a nice clean cut from Case 3 to Case 4. Rest is important, I appreciate that. So, we're gonna call it here. The origin of Horus is, then... Huh. You know what I just realized? All three of these the portraits for all these cases are your defendants, your clients. So that means that if this is Miriam Fraga, then she's going to be our client in the next one, and the attorney in case number 5, this gentleman, is going to be our client for the last one, unless this only is a correlation and not causation. And it just turns out that the first 3 happen to be some significant characters in these cases, and the last 2 could just be significant cases for significant characters for their cases. But we will figure that out next time. So, thank you all for joining me on this leg of the journey. AQ. Matthew, there's going to be plenty of VOD for you. James, Solaris, Moderator Katone, you came in fashionably late, and that's all we needed. Just jumped in to say good stream. Hey, thank you so much. But yeah. According to Moderator Katone, I said something that was substantial, but we'll just have to see what future knowledge is going to do to that assertion. 3 times is a pattern, and patterns are easily breakable. There you go. All right then. Then we'll just have to see what the future has in store for my assertions and later on. So, next time, we are going to, let's see. Oh yeah, and by the way, thank you. If you're watching this as a VOD, so you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, join the Discord. It is in the description. It'll let you know when the next stream comes up. Next time, we're going to see Case 4, Severed Ties. What does Miriam have to do with severed ties? We'll see next time. Until then, game out.